Good evening, everyone. Today is Wednesday, September 10th, 2014, and for the last 3 days, Calgary, Canada has been seeing snowstorm after snowstorm. 2 freak snowstorms have hit Calgary. Not any snowstorm. A summer snowstorm, not even a fall snowstorm. And over the last 3 days, you know how much snow they got? Close to a foot. That's not even normal for the winter. Heck, it's not even fall yet. And what the heck is going on? I mean, is the world coming to an end? What's going on? Well, there's a pretty logical explanation for this. And no, it's not global warming. We're dealing with climate change, but this is not man-made. What's going on right now has to do with the sun. Russian scientist has predicted that we're going to have low solar activity over the next century or so. Here's the reason we're having global cooling. Scientists predict imminent global cooling ahead in temperature jumps, almost a slam dunk. So exactly what they predicted has happened. Growing number of scientists are predicting global cooling. Russia's Pulkovo Observatory. We could be in for a cooling period that lasts 200 to 250 years. Danish solar scientist Svensmark declares global warming has stopped and a cooling is beginning. Enjoy global warming while it lasts. Wow. New paper by Russian solar physicist Khabibulo Administratov predicts another little ice age within the next 30 years. You say within the next 5 years. Meteorologist Joe Bastardi on declining global temps has the Obama administration, the EPA, or anyone that can start reading a chart actually looked at what global temperatures are now doing? Climate scientist professor Anastasios Sonos at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, predicts, I would assume something like another 15 years of leveling off or cooling. Prominent geologist Dr. Don Esterbrook warns global cooling is almost a slam dunk for up to 30 years or more. Russian Astronomical Society warns of global cooling as sun's activity significantly diminishes. That's true. The next solar cycle, NASA predicted, may even be weaker than this one, which is already the weakest in centuries. So yeah, it's pretty imminent. And this is back in June 2014. I'm just gonna read for the next couple minutes. And this is the trend that global temperatures have been doing over the last couple of years. And if you just want to read, just pause the video at any time so you can read. Just gotta keep the video short. You know, I don't want to go over the 15 limit YouTube. I don't want to go over the 15-minute. I don't want to go over the 15. I don't want to go over the 15 limit. I don't want to go over the. I don't want to go over the 15-minute YouTube limit. So here's what we're gonna read. They're talking about the sunspots. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to read the full article. Because I want you to see why we're having global cooling. I'm going to read out loud. For those of you, who have trouble seeing, you could hear what's going on. No doubt about it. The Earth is cooling. One of the most prescient indicators. No doubt about it. Better Get Your Woolies by Dr. Klaus Eli Kaiser. No doubt about it. The Earth's climate is cooling. One of the most prescient indicators clearly shows it, namely the Danish Meteorological Institute. Daily mean temperatures for the Arctic area north of 80 degrees latitude, north parallel. They have measured for over 50 years, which shows a long-term average of 90 days with air temperatures above freezing. The year 2013 has seen a dramatic departure from that routine. In 2013, the summer above freezing temperatures lasted for only 45 days. 1/2 of the average number of days. Not only did the frost-free days start much later than on average this year, they also ended much earlier. See the figure below. In fact, the frost-free period seen this year was significantly shorter than in any other year since 1958, when the recordings began. And what you see in red is 2014, is this year. 2013. However, you see green, right? Green is this year. So it started up above average. Then it went well below, so meh. It looks like it's slightly below average. The new data corroborate other findings of no global warming for the last 18 years. In fact, not a single of the 20-plus climate predictions models used by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change even shows the recent temperature developments as within their model uncertainties. It begs the question, is another ice age imminent? Climate at the poles. The climate at the Earth's poles is quite different from that at mid-latitudes or near the equator. To begin with, at the poles, the lengths of night and day vary with the seasons. At the Earth's equator, day and night are always equal, 12 hours exactly. In contrast, near the poles, day and night periods vary from 24-hour sunshine in summer to 24-hour darkness in the depth of winter. The Arctic winter temperature average around -30 Celsius or -35 degrees Fahrenheit, but it can get much colder than that. If nature wants it, that kind of cold weather can slide down to cover half the North American continent. Even in Minnesota, winter temperatures can reach -60 degrees Fahrenheit. The Arctic summer period extends from mid-June to mid-September. Above the Arctic Circle, which is 66 degrees north latitude, summer days are longer than the nights and vice versa in winter. At even higher latitude, above 80 degrees north, there is a 24-hour sunshine for a few weeks around summer, in total darkness at winter solstice. Needless to say, any visitors to such areas prefer to come in midsummer. Old Man Frost, also known as Father Frost, is a fictional character in folklore, reminiscent of Santa Claus. Of course, since I'm Russian, we call him Ded Moroz. Though fictional, the character provides the quintessential basis for understanding the country's psyche. Much of the landscape is frozen for a long time each year. The brief summer periods do not change that fact, and various armies intent on conquering the land have learned such with great pain and defeat. Permafrost, defined as soil at or below the freezing point of water for 2 or more years, covers much of Russia's tundra and taiga regions. Just like on this continent, even today, well-preserved woolly mammoth bodies are found in Siberia from time to time, thanks to permafrost. These relatives of modern-day elephants died out approximately 4,500 years ago. You may think of the area as a giant freezer, entirely natural. Ice ages. The world has experienced a number of ice ages. These were times when large parts of the North American and Eurasian continents were covered by a thick layer of ice, mostly 1 to 2 miles high. All that ice melted and began to disappear around 20,000 years ago. By around 5,000 years ago, the ice was mostly gone, and since then we are enjoying an interglacial period. Such interglacial periods of global warming, also known as climate change, had nothing to do with changes in the atmospheric carbon dioxide. If there is any credible correlation, it shows the rise of CO2 levels lagging the rise of temperatures by 1,000 years or so. All indications are that in the past, such interglacial periods have ended quite suddenly, on a geological timescale overnight. As Robert W. Felix describes eloquently in his book, Not by Fire but by Ice, massive snowfalls entrapped and killed the mammoths and everything else around them. There was no route of escape. The question is solely when, not if, the current interglacial period will come to a sudden end. Nature had an earlier attempt at it when, in the mid-1600s, the world experienced a cold spell lasting some 60 years, which is now commonly known as the medieval Little Ice Age. That period coincided with the Maunder minimum, an unusually low number of sunspots through several sunspot cycles. Guess what? Current predictions are once again for several decades of low counts of sunspots. Though the sunspots are affecting the radiation received from the sun, they are not the only thing affecting our climate. Much closer to home, there are thousands of volcanoes and volcanic vents spewing ash and gases into the atmosphere. Volcanic ash and gas. Massive volcanic eruptions on Earth have had severe consequences in the Earth's past. None good. Apart from the areas in their immediate vicinity, which were incinerated and buried by lava flows, forceful eruptions can blast large amounts of ash high up into the atmosphere. It can stay aloft for many months and reduces the amount of sunshine received at the surface. Such levels happen repeatedly in recorded history and are also known for geological records. Ian Plimer, in his book Heaven and Earth, describes it well in the chapter One Volcano Can Ruin Your Day. While massive eruptions are rare, they are inactive. While massive eruptions are rare, there are active volcanoes and thousands of vents along the Earth's 40,000 plus miles of tectonic rifts. Nearly all volcanoes are constantly emitting gas with carbon dioxide, making up the bulk of it. But it is not the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere which determines the climate. If carbon dioxide has any effect on the climate at all, it provides a moderating and cooling effect, not a warm blanket effect. The widely claimed greenhouse gas theory is bunk. End of the interglacial? The end of the current interglacial period has been asked repeatedly. The short answer is nobody knows when it will come about. It could happen tomorrow or 1,000 or more years from now. Given the horizons of the Earth's age, currently estimated at 4.5 billion years old, the geological time frame in general, a period of 1,000 years, does not even count as a rounding error. Politicians talk. Despite all the evidence to the contrary, many politicians still ride the global warming bandwagon. Presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, and other world leaders still claim that the Earth is in a runaway warming phase and push their anti-carbon dioxide alternative energy schemes. In reality, though, the Earth's climate is largely controlled by solar radiation, volcanism on Earth, and the hydrological cycle of water between solid, liquid, and vapor states. From the actual temperature observations to the ice extent in the Arctic and Antarctic and to the sunspot cycles, they all point into the opposite direction. How long will it take for the politicians and bureaucrats to wake up? You may not have time to wait for that. Better get your woolies now. Thank you for watching and have a great day.